Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Killed a Family for Money, and I Don't Feel Bad About It. If you've ever talked to a Skyrim player about their favorite quest, chances are you would hear Dark Brotherhood a lot. It's certainly mine. But what if I told you that Skyrim isn't the only way to experience the Dark Brotherhood? What if I told you that there could be a better way to experience it? In Oblivion. That's right. Like many franchises where lore is interchangeable between titles, The Elder Scrolls has a Dark Brotherhood questline in both Skyrim and Oblivion. I've played the Dark Brotherhood a lot in Skyrim, so today my goal is to go into Oblivion and find out if serving Sithis in Cyrodiil is better than in Skyrim. If you want to see how I found out about the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion, check out my last video, where I play and beat Oblivion for the first time. Enjoy. In the last video, we did the very beginning of the Dark Brotherhood questline, our first assassination, so in this video, we're gonna continue. I was told to go to an abandoned house in Cheydinhal. The door was locked, so I had to pick it, but I still haven't learned how to effectively lockpick anything harder than very easy since last episode. I couldn't quite get in, so I waited until day to see if it would be unlocked then. But if you recall from last week, I'm a vampire, and what I found is that if you ever wait while outside as a vampire, you just instantly die. So it was back to the lockpicking strategy. Luckily, I was able to figure it out eventually. I searched the house, went down to the basement, and saw it. The black door. I entered and met Ochiva, the leader of this sanctuary. She gave me the Dark Brotherhood armor, and it was time for Shrock to switch up his playstyle and go for something lighter. There were a lot more people in this sanctuary than the Skyrim one. I went downstairs to speak with a fellow vampire, and he gave me my first of many contracts. I was to sneak onto a pirate ship and kill their captain. Of course, my stealth on this mission was impeccable. I stabbed the sleeping captain, but then his crew knocked on the door wondering if he was alright. I tried to leave through the back, but it was locked, so it looks like I might have to fight. They saw me immediately, so I struck.
Look who we've got here.
And after my first job was done, I returned to the sanctuary for my next. This contract was to kill an old man, but make it look like an accident, reminiscent of the wedding quest from Skyrim. The catch was that I had to avoid the old guy's bodyguard. I snuck in through the basement, saw him over the railing of the second floor, used some Harry Potter magic to get into the crawl space, found the fittings of the mounted animal head above his chair, and loosened them. When I went to take a look at his body, unfortunately his guards spotted me, so I swiftly made my escape. He followed me outside. At first I thought the guards were trying to kill me, the assassin, but instead they were trying to kill him. Since he attacked me first, he committed the crime. Another example of law enforcement killing the correct person. Unfortunately, I needed to keep him alive to get my bonus, so I loaded up a save and just ran from the city as fast as I could so he wouldn't get killed by the guards. Upon my return to the sanctuary, Vicente was most pleased with my success and gave me an awesome dagger called Severthorn. My next mission was my most important yet. I had to infiltrate the Imperial prison through the same sewer I used to escape it in the last video. Kill one of the prisoners, but the catch was that I couldn't kill any guards. I found that my sneak skill was definitely not high enough when the guards saw me as soon as I turned a corner. My only option now was just to run. I emerged through my old cell, went through the bar door, then saw him. It's the very same prisoner from the beginning, the movie pirate. Unforgivable. I opened his cell and he said to me,
"Wait, I know you. You're the one. The day the Emperor was killed. They went through your cell."
His words were meaningless to me. All I felt was the urge to fix this world by taking one more piece of human garbage out of it. I sent his soul to the void and made my escape. Vicente, of course, was pleased with my execution of this task. After another successful contract, Vicente told me to meet with Ochiva. Looks like I was promoted, and from now on, I'll be working under Ochiva directly. The next quest was one of the most unique quests I've ever done. My job was to go to a house with 5 other people. They all think they're looking for a hidden chest of gold in the house, kind of like an escape room. My job was to kill all of them one by one, without any of them ever finding out that I was killing them. This next sequence worked out for me so well that I won't even have to edit it for you to see how great it was. Oh my god. They just keep coming to me. Eventually I found the fourth one, and somehow none of them ever knew that I was the killer. When I came back to Ochiva, she gave me a letter addressed to me from Lucien LeChance. He was the man who recruited me in the first place. The letter told me that it was urgent that I come up the mountain next to Cheydinhal and meet him at his private fort. I went up there, entered the place, and at first I thought he was an enemy, but put my bow away when I saw the banners. He told me that the Black Hand suspects a traitor in the Cheydinhal Sanctuary, and the Dark Brotherhood rules state that when there is a traitor, then the purification must take place. The purification is the most extreme measure the Dark Brotherhood must take to survive. I'm the only one who can do it since I'm the newest member. I'm absolved of suspicion since they know the traitor has been there longer than I've been a member. I have to kill all the other members of the Cheydinhal Sanctuary. Lucien gave me a poisoned apple and a special summoning scroll to do the job. I left and went back to complete my task. When I tried to drop the poison apple, I did something that I feel like other Oblivion players can relate to. I ate it. I loaded a save to retry, put the apple next to the Khajiit, but he wouldn't eat. He just kept drinking and drinking. In anger, I kicked everything else off the table so he would be forced to eat it, but he just kept going and going. So I tried with Ochiva instead, and she just kept reading. So I decided to give up on the apple and deal with her the old-fashioned way. A quick slash to the rear cranium. Teinava didn't react at all to the sight of his dead sister, so I killed him just for the disrespect. Going back to the cat, I decided to use the summoning scroll approach. I was sure that this ghost was about to mess this guy up, but he didn't. He just kind of sat there until I attacked him. Then the ghost let off one attack and just stood there and took a bunch of hits. I finished off the kitten, then stabbed the girl as well. I never took the time to learn any of their names. I could never bring myself to kill Shemer. Who I could kill though was Vicente, the vampire. While it was easy to eliminate a fellow vampire, killing a fellow Shrock brought a tear to my eye. Finally was the archer chick, and the Cheydinhal Sanctuary was dead. For my efforts, Lucien made me his silencer and told me that from now on I would receive my orders in letter form in hidden dead drops that I would have to visit across Tamriel. On top of that, he awarded me with his horse, a familiar face, Shadowmere. Shadowmere and I traveled to the first dead drop, and I received my orders. First job as silencer was silencing a necromancer. His invisibility served him poorly as my blade sliced him open. Next mission was systematically killing every member of the Draconis family. First was the mother, who conveniently thought I was a gift courier and gave me the location of all her children. She was very nice to me, but unfortunately, I still had to kill her. When I went back inside her house, I found something amazing. Jake? Jake the dog? Jake the dog! I'll come back and visit you, okay? I killed off all of her children, one by one by one. After this excursion, I encounter a moment of culture.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
My next job was killing a Khajiit in his house in Bruma. I was told that he would be difficult to kill as he was a master in unarmed combat. I found his basement, gave him a little suck before I killed him, dropped some items that I didn't need, like an old claymore, and woke him up. I stepped back and prepared for him to pull out some kung fu wushu type moves on me. Hey, that's cheating! Die for your insolence, fool. He must have known I was coming as he had a Dark Brotherhood book at his bedside. I picked up my reward and the next contract at a dead drop. I was tasked to kill an Argonian. I thought it was a cool detail that he was found in a flooded cave, as Argonians are the only race that can breathe underwater. I even got to fight him underwater, but he posed no threat, even on his turf. After this, I had to kill another master of combat. This one was a master in destruction magic. I wonder who wants all these high-level enemies killed off. Of course, 2 swings of my knife rendered him not alive. These tasks are getting a bit tedious, but I think we're coming up on an end soon. I traveled to the top of a mountain to kill a battle axe expert Nord. This fight was actually a little challenging because he had a dog. As per usual, I visited a dead drop, got my reward, and made my way to the next target. An elf in Bravo who visits a statue at the same time every night. Unfortunately, he saw me coming and started an attack, but like all the rest, I was playing on easy mode, so he stood no chance. As soon as he died, Lucien appeared. He was obviously a little angry. He told me I was a traitor, that I had stopped visiting my dead drops, stopped killing my targets, and instead I had been killing off all the members of the Black Hand one by one. But he could tell that I was confused, and realized that I wasn't a traitor, but instead someone else had been switching my dead drops to trick me into killing the Black Hand members. Lucien told me to wait at my next dead drop to see who switches it out, and that he would hide in the old lady's farmhouse from before. I'm sure Jake will look after him. He'll wait for me, and we'll find this traitor. I waited for an hour at the dead drop to see who was switching them. I approached the scoundrel, and he pleaded for his life, saying that someone paid him to make the drop. I didn't trust him, but I let him live for sharing information with me. He told me that the man who paid him lived in the lighthouse cellar. I can go there and find out information about where he is. So I entered, and it was really gross. I was so invested in the story at this point that I did something I've never done in an Elder Scrolls game before. I read a book. Come to think of it, I've never read a book, period. The diary told me that the traitor was a member of the Black Hand, and his intention was the murder of the Night Mother. Lucian and I are not gonna allow this. I fast traveled to the farm to meet up with them, and when I entered, the rest of the Black Hand were there. But they thought Lucian was the traitor this whole time. We were trying to clear his name, and I did. When Arquin was done speaking to me, I walked over to see what they had done to Lucian. I'm gonna find out which one of these losers it was that betrayed you, Lucian. We went to the Night Mother's statue, and they requested entrance. The Black Hand members entered, and I followed them. The Night Mother was angry that they had killed Lucian and not caught the traitor, but I still don't know which one of these members is the enemy. It would be a lot easier to think if this loser weren't staring at me the whole time.
The Black Hand remains tainted by betrayal.
Enough of this.
Restoration is
You
impossible.
will all suffer for the pain you have caused me.
Of course. He quickly killed 2 members.
What treachery! The traitor still lives. It is Matthew Bellamont. Do not let him harm your Night Mother. Kill him!
I was finally able to find and kill him. But at what cost? All the lives we've lost, everything I've done, killing an old woman, orphaning her loyal dog, a poor elf addicted to drugs and struggling to get by, his wife waiting for him to get better, swapping an old man's medicine. None of this was cool or impressive. It was just petty killing. And was it worth it? Yeah.